Welcome to the Transfer Exchange Show. The game has literally just finished. Literally. Seconds. Minutes. I wish it was hours. I wish it was a dream. I wish it was a nightmare that I'd woken up to, pinched myself, and God, you know what? I can roll these score predictions under here. Boom. Bosh. Bosh. Underneath there, and it would be happy days. But it wasn't.
But that was just anybody you see them score predictions in the preview show. That was just a mirage. You've had too much to drink.
Yes.
So just
yeah. Okay. Let's start. It looked like an encouraging start from Arsenal. But then Fulham managed to get back in the game. Arsenal didn't take their chances, and Fulham got a penalty. Steve, what were your thoughts on the first half of the game?
Just the first half. Well, the first half, like you said, I was pretty okay with it. I was very confident with Matt Ryan in goal.
Yeah,
he was when the crosses were crossing, he was actually. But then I have to take note. He catches them, and I think that breeds a lot of confidence in the defence, especially our defence, where it's pretty average at the moment. I thought Martinelli was busy. I mean, there wasn't much end product in the first half, but he was busy. I can't work out this Berlin captain thing, but that's just that's nothing to do with the game. That's just I couldn't work why he was captain when Lacazette and Xhaka's on the pitch.
Yeah, when he's not playing as well.
Yeah, and he looks like he'd probably leave. We had a couple of penalty shots, but what amazed me is that why don't we appeal when there's a possible penalty? There was two times there where there was a possible penalty where Saka got a little push, and there was one. I think it was Smith Rowe on the other side a little bit earlier. And there was no screaming, no nothing. It was just got up. And when they've done the replay, you could see that there was contact, but nothing. Then obviously, Ceballos got the goal, which if they don't change these rules at the end of the season, then they'll ruin football because it's an absolute joke. VAR's not a joke; it's the rules that are a joke. And that was basically my thoughts on the first half.
Jerome, after pre-match preview, when the game kicked off, was you encouraged? Did you think this could be Arsenal's day?
Yeah, they started very well, didn't they? Started like a house on fire, but then after maybe 10-15 minutes, they sort of, I guess, the intensity dropped a bit. I wouldn't even say Fulham came back into the game. It's just that we weren't creating as many chances as we did in the first part of the game. We like you said, Martinelli looked lively. Lacazette was playing quite well. We were moving the ball quite sharp, and then we just sort of stopped. And to be honest with you, most of the first half it was a bit of a snooze fest, wasn't it? There wasn't too much going on, and although we didn't take our early chances, that's still no excuse for playing the way we did the rest of the half. Like, you've got 75 more minutes to create chances. Like, don't let the fact that we didn't take our chance in the first 10 minutes be a reason why we didn't win the game. But you just can't believe what you're watching sometimes with this team. Like how we found ourselves 1-0 down is like,
it was a shock, wasn't it?
It's honestly, it's like what you don't. You can't put it into words. It's like you're dominating possession so much, and then you're 1-0 down, and then you're like chasing the game. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, really, really crazy.
And once they got the goal, did you feel it was a fair call for offside? I mean, it was.
What, the Arsenal goal?
Yeah. Lacazette moving. It's
a joke.
How many millimeters are we talking? Are we talking about a stud? Are we talking about like what? The player's facing the other way, going towards his own goal. He's using his planted foot to move away from the defender, and he's getting an offside for that.
Unless they change something in terms of the offside rule or the way VAR interprets it, this is going to happen all the time because of the nature of an offside, and it's to do with the body and where the body is in relation to another body. You're going to get this sort of thing happening pretty much, maybe not every game, but a lot. And it's annoying the fans of obviously the teams that it's happening to. So when Arsenal get a call given against an Arsenal, an Arsenal fan gets annoyed. But what I'm seeing mates that support other teams. They don't care about Arsenal, and they're getting annoyed about it. Just seeing these types of decisions is annoying. Just football fans, no matter who you support, no matter what game it is, because you're seeing sort of an injustice, really. And people say it's ruining the game. It's a big statement, but they're not far wrong, I don't think.
Yeah, Steve, how's a striker meant to check his run if they're the margins you're talking about in the game? You've literally just got to stand onside. There's no craft in there, is there? There's no checking your run, dropping your shoulder, moving back onside, then going for the run. It's you've got to just stand onside, surely. Which is madness.
I played a little bit of striker in my day, and the idea. The art was that you stood on the shoulder of the last defender.
Yeah.
That I'm saying that said that now, and everybody will people will recognise that term straight away. You used to stand on the shoulder of the last defender, and like you said, Kieron, you can't do that no more. You've got to stand behind your defender and hope that you've got enough pace on the ball to sort of when the ball gets played through that it catches your defender who's marking you off guard, so you're basically you've got the run on him and you can get through that way. But the days of standing on the shoulder of your last defender, you can't do it no more. And when in the training grounds, and when you're Arteta or any other managers teaching tactics, that can't be one of them anymore.
Yeah. What happened in the second half?
Well, I mean, if Fulham got the penalty, then it all seemed to be go a little bit sort of Pete Tong from there. But if that's a penalty, then how was the Sabalias goal given offside? What was the difference?
Yeah, there was that. We're talking about code. God.
I'll tell you what I think. Right, I think obviously we're biased, right? So that's like I'll caveat this sentence with that. We're obviously biased.
Yeah.
But what I'll say is that if you've played football, I think at any level, which we have, and obviously people watching will have done, that the Fulham guy has dived, right? You know it. If you've played football, you can tell that he hasn't made the most of it. He's dived. There may be honestly the smallest bit of contact, but if you've played football, you can tell that that's a dive, right? But these referees and there's people that officiate, I don't think they've ever played football at any level. They've watched it.
That's it.
What's that?
They've watched it. That's about as far as it goes.
But if you've played the game, I think you have a different appreciation for what's a foul and if someone means something. But these refs, they don't understand, and that's why you're getting these dodgy decisions because they don't look at it from a footballing point of view. They look at it from an officiating point of view, which I think there's a difference.
Yeah. It was a double whammy, wasn't it? It was a double whammy. You had the foul, which you was like, okay, all right, maybe Gabriel was a little bit late, but as Jerome just said, the geezer's gone down like he was shot. And if you've played the game, like Jerome says again, you just that don't. I
don't know whether they're trying to claim whether he stamped on his foot or he tripped him. Because if he's saying he's tripped him, then it was more like Like Jerome said, it's a dive.
But I was confused. I'm so confused. I was so confused. 1 minute they was looking at the offside and they had the line, and they was looking at the toe, and they was going this and that and that. And I'm thinking, well, we got, one of these we've got to go our way, because they both was like,
yeah.
The offside look. I thought, well, that's the same as
it's the same as for me. It's the same as Lacazette.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, it's the same. I looked at that when they pulled out the lines. I was like, well, this is offside. Then
was like, so you thought, got to get one, but then you see the thing go up, but carried on for, as you were saying, going on for the rest of the game. I thought the way we played. I just think there was a lot, and I'm not going to coat them off, or go into them, because we have been playing well recently, and you do get games like this. With your Man United, Arsenal, Man City, you do get games like this. But I thought Martinelli played well. I thought Saka had maybe had a poorest game by his standards today.
Mm-hmm.
They seen what they did. I love this. I love Saka. But what commentators seem to do, especially like Alan Smith today, what he was doing, he was picking out the good things that Saka was doing, but he was really doing some dodgy things as well, where he's giving the ball away, but he wasn't great for me. I thought Gabriel wasn't fantastic. Xhaka was okay again on the left. He didn't do much wrong. Fulham really didn't test him again, did they? Like Jerome said, let's try and test Xhaka, but they didn't really.
No, Cordova kind of stayed away from him. He cut inside a lot more today.
I thought when Pepe came on, he looked sharp, but he wasn't on long enough. I don't know why Lacazette keeps taking free kicks. I knew exactly what he was going to do when he took that free kick. It just wasn't enough performance. There wasn't enough oomph. Elneny wasn't, I think you've got to play Xhaka or party in that pivot. Elneny really I like him as a guy, and he's a great guy, but he's just not,
Yeah. When you're playing against the team that sort of sit behind the ball. Yeah. And the longer the game goes on, Elneny isn't the guy you want in your centre midfield, because he's not really gonna do anything, is he? In terms of like a killer pass or beat someone, and he's a very safety first, play the easy ball kind of player, isn't he?
No, there was one ball in the first half that epitomised Elneny. We were very much in a certainty. We were playing really well. We were looking sharp. We had a couple of shots on goal. And there was some really nice intricate play with Arsenal earlier on today in the first half, like some 20-yard long balls along the ground through players, some nice play. Emil Smith-Rowe was involved in a lot of it, and then at one point it was like ping, 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 went to Elneny. Elneny should have passed the ball forward, ping to carry on that. What did he do? Straight away opened up, passed it back. Two players looked at him and were like, what are you doing? Yeah. Because it totally kills the flow of the game. If you're through ball, through ball, it's working. Then he goes, ball, pass it back. It's like, that kills the mood. It kills the flow. And that is a massive part of why I can't deal with Elneny. Again, as Steve said, nice guy on his day can do a job. Say you've got 10 minutes left and you want to clean it up, you want to make sure you don't concede goals, stick Elneny on, keep it safe, he can pass it back all he wants, he can win the ball, great. But when you're trying to win a game, when you're trying to get some forward-thinking players in there, Elneny is not the guy. He's not the guy in there. And the second half, as Steve said, we were flat from the first. Well, we were really good the first 15 minutes, but you can't win a game in 15 minutes. Even if you went 2-0 up in that first 15 minutes, you ain't winning that game in 15 minutes. You've still got 75 minutes to play the rest of the game, and you still got to make sure you're on the ball. Arsenal can't keep doing that. Small spurts in games that look encouraging, then drop off, and then don't do anything because they're not taking their chances.
Yeah.
That's
Lacazette's injury could be quite bad, couldn't it?
Just about to go on to that. Jerome.
Yeah.
Lacazette's hammy. For me, that's it for definitely the game against Everton and potentially the first day against Villarreal. How devastating is that, especially with Aubameyang out with malaria?
That's it. It all depends about Aubameyang, doesn't it? I mean, it didn't look good because he obviously went down. He just wasn't. There was no one near him, was there? He just sort of. No one. And it's weird. It's weird for Lacazette to get. You don't think Lacazette would run quick enough to pull a hamstring. The way he
wasn't. He wasn't even running at pace. It was a bit of play where it looked like he was going to be breaking through, and he's pulled up.
But if Aubameyang's fit, hopefully it's not too much. If Aubameyang can get over his illness, hopefully it won't be too much of an issue. But if Lacazette and Aubameyang are both out, then the manager's got a tricky decision to make. Maybe not so much Everton because the important game was Villarreal, isn't it? That's the really key one.
Yeah.
So it just depends on their fitness and wellness.
I don't think it's important to win every game, like for momentum, to go into, especially because our main goal now this season is to win the the semi-final, the Europa League. Yeah, so that's our main goal. But it just showed you how short we was. When Xhaka got, there was a time when Xhaka got injured, he thought looking like he was coming off. And if he would have gone off, and then you got Lacazette coming off, and then you got Aubameyang, who was, as you say, he's got malaria. Mm-hmm. Gabriel was limping as well. Was coming off. You're in trouble, but don't worry because Kroenke's back to us. So we've got all these players to come in that are going to take their place.
Steve.
So don't worry about it.
You said it there with regards to. If Xhaka goes off because he got fouled twice, got caught late twice, Lacazette goes down with an injury, and there's no Aubameyang, you potentially got to play Eddie Nketiah up front as your main striker. Yeah. You'll have to put Cedric back into left back. Or
what some people say, one of our most attacking players of the season, who's possibly could be our player of the season. We could play him left back in the semi-final.
Oh, what, Saka?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can't hear any talk about Saka being put at left back. I don't ever want to see Saka at left back because the kid has been absolutely brilliant as a forward player.
But there is talk. People do say that, and that just shows you their knowledge of the game. But it's worrying. You get a few injuries. I mean, we had a conversation, didn't we, before we went live tonight, of like how we've had 14 players who hasn't cost us a penny in the last 3 games that have started.
Name them players.
This was just like, I'm going to go for it. Holding. All right. Gabriel didn't cost us a lot. Ceballos, we all know. And then he cost us nothing. Martinelli, Smith-Rowe, Saka, Nketiah, Ryan, Bellerin, Mari, Chambers, Cedric, William. That leaves 6 players. Who we've actually paid money for. 14 players have started for Arsenal Football Club, right, in the last 3 games, right? And you get dopey idiots, twats, who tell us that he's backed us. And we've got 4 players that have actually played decent money, who 2 of them we're still paying for.
Oh, wow.
It's
brilliant.
It's I wonder what Arsenal are going to do in the summer. I don't hold much hope that Arsenal are going to do much in the summer when you hear that as the list of players.
While I was watching the game, I was just like out of curiosity, was just writing them down, and the list just started getting longer and longer and longer and longer and longer. But that's not the thing. I bet we shouldn't have a go at those players because some of them are okay. I mean, some of them, Gabriel's still got a lot to learn. What Gabriel needs like a robot Ruben Diaz next to him.
He needs an experienced head. He needs. That's what he needs, and that's why I think Gabriel's been dropped because he needs a David Luiz next to him.
No, but then again, Kroenke has backed us because they paid $7 million for Mari. Nice.
That's not backing. That's not backing.
Isn't it?
That's not backing.
But it's just it's just an explanation to say you've bought 6 players, pal. And Tierney's got to be added to that as well.
Yeah.
I've got Tierney to it. Yeah, got 6 players there. But
who's Tierney's backup?
But
Tierney hasn't got a backup.
Those 6 players, Tierney, Leno, Lacazette, Pepe, Partey, and Xhaka. I mean, some of them are playing well, but none of them are worldies, are they? None of them are worldies, are they? None of them are like you're talking about Arsenal. None of them are worlds. None of them are worldy players. None of them are like a Man City have got, or what Man United have got, or what a Liverpool have got, or even what a Tottenham have got.
No. Even with the case where, because Liverpool went out and got what wouldn't even be classed as world class, but they've bought players they've seen potential in to move to that state. Yeah. And look, Salah, Firmino, Mane, these were all players that were highly regarded with regards to previously when they were first bought. Salah was regarded highly when he was bought by Chelsea from Basel, and then he was sold. Then he went to Fiorentina and Roma and smashed it out in Italy. So he was still rated. Firmino was rated when he was out in Hoffenheim, I think he was. Mane was rated when he was in the Premiership. Yeah, he was raw. But Man United were looking at Mane. Arsenal need to start bringing in those players because we're not buying the upper echelon players. So we need to be bringing in it's not degrading what these players are like, but the step down in terms of the names. And they need to actually fulfil those duties and get the deals done. Talk about.
Sorry, mate. No, last week, go and have a look at Man City's bench. Right, their bench. Go and have and this wasn't them. This was them playing their full first team. Yeah. Like, this is them playing their full, and I had a look at their about 10 players on the bench. Yeah. Every single one of them, I went through, and I thought. Every one of them would start for Arsenal. Some things are very simple, without going into long and winding conversations on it. Every one of them subs would start for Arsenal.
Yeah. Says a lot. Says a lot about where we are, what we're buying, what we're looking to do. Arsenal have a lot to do. They've got a lot to do.
Support the boys every game. Support them, because they need it because it ain't their fault. Do you know what I mean?
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what would be very interesting, right? Obviously, a lot's being made of being able to win the Europa League so that we get in the Champions League so that we'll get a lot of extra money, right? What is going to be interesting is if we do get in if we do win the Europa League, and then see who we get. Because if we don't get decent players, even when we get into the Champions League, then it's all just a sham, isn't it?
Yeah.
It'll all be for nothing, basically.
But
the pressure is on the club. The pressure is on the club to pull out some decent signings if they get into Europe in the Champions League. Because
Jerome, how much money do you think we need to sort of say we're going to go in next season? Say if you want to challenge for Champions League next season, yeah. How much do you think he needs to put in to challenge for the Champions League?
To challenge for the Champions League, there's not enough money in the world. But
or time.
No. To get into it. Sorry. To get
into it.
Yeah.
I think I don't think they need to spend too much extra if they sell well. If they sell well, they can probably raise about 100 million. But are they going to sell well? and you're not confident they are.
So how much would he have to put in himself on top of that 100 million?
Not. I don't think an awful lot. No more than 50. If you've got 150 million to spend on four or five players, like that's fine. That's good. But I'm more not confident in spotting talent rather than spending the money. Like, can they judge if a player's going to be good enough or not? That's my concern.
Yeah,
I
hear that.
Do you know what I mean?
I hear that. It doesn't have to necessarily be big spends. I think Arsenal do need to. I think Arsenal do need to spend big. Maybe because their eye for spotting talent isn't as great as it used to be, and they've just got to go for the blatant.
It's like Liverpool when they bought. If Arsenal bought Diego Jota, right, Arsenal fans would be moaning their asses off.
Yeah.
We're buying him for. Well, they would. That's how they would have been.
It's got to be the name.
Snobs.
Yeah, it's got to be the name. It's got to be the name that's already been put out there.
Diego Jota now. You think of him in our side, you'd be like, "Wow, God, you ever want to be getting his name on the backs?"
Yeah.
But
there's players out there.
Said that. It only takes certain players. As you say, it don't take many, but it takes the right ones. So
that's what Arsenal need to start doing: signing the right players. And we've got a European campaign that we've got to complete. If we don't, it's serious trouble for Arsenal. Talks even to think about no Europa League, no Champions League. Like people are very much dismissing how much of an impact that would have, because you want to talk about Arsenal would still spend. Okay, would they? Would they? I don't think they would. And what player wants to go to a team that's not in Europe and that's been struggling to get into the Europa League even for the last 3 seasons?
Yeah,
like that. There's no sort of real with all the other teams that are in front of us currently now. That are ahead of Arsenal in those European spots. What makes anyone think that they would want to join Arsenal ahead of them? Because we're in London. Well, Tottenham are in London. West Ham are in London because they pay big wages. Well, West Ham will pay big wages because I know Sullivan and Gold will fork out money if they really like the look of a player. I know Levy, if he really likes the look for the player, he'd put his hand in his pocket, although people think he's tight. He spent a lot of money on the likes of Reguilon and Gareth Bale's getting a fair wedge in his back burner every week. So this thought of the glory days of Arsenal that are now is far from it. And if you think that Arsenal are going to leapfrog ahead of anyone for getting in a signing, then you've been burying your head in the sand for the last 3 seasons when the transfer window comes round. Because it's not been like that. Arsenal have not been smooth sailing with any transfers for ages now. When have Arsenal gone out to go and get a player and it's straight away it's been, he wants to come over someone else. Like over someone else. Not Arsenal are the only club in. I'm talking about over another team when there's been players in there that Arsenal have been after and someone else has been after. When have they chosen Arsenal? It's very few and far between. It shows you how far we're falling down. It would be
good for the fans if, they could just come out and say, "Oh, look, this is what we got." We ain't.
They're not being honest, though, Steve. They're never going to be honest.
But if they did that, then every Arsenal fan would go, "Okay." But every Arsenal fan seems to think we've got all this loads and loads of money. We could go. I mean, in a way, I hope that we haven't got loads and loads of money and can get anybody we want. Because for me, that makes it even worse. Because that means nobody wants to bloody come to us. So that would make it worse. If we've got 500 million, and Stan's gone, here's 500 million. Well, no one wants to come to us, do they? If Arsenal have got 500 million pounds, that'd be worse. So which one is it? So he's catch 22, and both catch 22s is a bad.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. I think the name Arsenal doesn't hold as much as it used to. They look at the league position, they look at where we've been in the last few seasons, and they see that it's a team that's on a rebuild, and it's a team that's not rebuilding very well. So who wants to be a part of that? Maybe some young players, some up and coming players that might know about it, like seriously know the Arsenal name and think, I'll be on board for that. But we're talking about established pros or pros that are moving on to that age where they're about to do the business at a bigger club. there's other options there. There's other options, easier options. There's more comfortable options. Not necessarily comfortable as in the standards you've got to play, but it's in you're moving into a team that's going to be in the Champions League, going to be in the Europa League, going to have a good setting around it, going to have good professionals around them. Not a team that's been run by youngsters. Because if Smith Rowe wasn't there today, it would have been a hell of a lot worse.
I thought he was decent. Yeah.
I thought he was decent today, and it shows how much of a difference that kid's made. And it should not be like that. It shouldn't be like that, and it shouldn't. We shouldn't be looking now and saying, "Oh, Saka didn't have the greatest game," and which means we didn't play well, because that's embarrassing. Because this kid's been doing that for the last 2.5 seasons. He's been one of our best players, and that should not be the case. Okay, these youngsters can be our best players, but they should be players that we fully rely on. I'm not going to judge a player because he's extremely talented and I don't want him to be the best. That's not. If he's that good, he's that good. But we shouldn't be week in, week out relying on him. And if he's not playing, we're in trouble. So there's a lot of things that need to change.
Another thing is just a little bit. I mean, we're meant to be just talking about the game, and like I don't really want to go into too much, but it's just that we need. I don't know. We need something. We need freshening up. We need it done quickly, and our youngsters will suffer. And
if they don't want to suffer, Steve, they go. That's the problem. If they don't want to suffer anymore, they will just leave. Their agents will say, "We're not signing a new deal, so you've got 2 years left on my contract." And I won't sign a new one. I want to move on, and that will happen. If you think that these players are going to stay with Arsenal out of loyalty forever, then you're massively deluded. Whether they love the club or not, they love their careers more than they love this club. So Arsenal need to make some changes quick. All right, people.
Well done, Fulham. Anyway.
Well done, Fulham. Solid performance from them. They actually caused more chances and a bit of worry throughout the game. Scott Parker's doing a brilliant job there. Probably a bit too late to save the season for them. But he's a very good up and coming manager. I'm sure if he does go down and come back up with Fulham, I mean he'll find another job in the Premier League not too soon after that. Thank you for joining us, guys. Shame it couldn't have been a better result. Managed to pull out a draw at the end with an Eddie Nketiah equaliser. Just more relief in that one than calling it a good result or good character or whatever. Because Arsenal need to start taking their chances. Because in Europe, you have less chances and you need to be more clinical. Doesn't look like it's going to be Lacazette from that hammy injury. 2 weeks is a turnaround is not really enough for me, the way he went down. But yeah, it remains to be seen. Thanks for joining us, people. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, and join us for the match reaction of the Man United versus Burnley game. I've not seen the score there. Let's have a quick look.
0-0 at the moment.
Currently 0-0, finally 5 minutes in. All right.
Burnley scored after 40 seconds. VAR got in coming wide.
VAR cancelled that one out as well.
VAR came to the rescue of Manchester United.
There we go. All right. Peace out, people. Stay safe.